Hey Dante, another month. It's lockdown slowly coming to an end, and I think I've got a little trick up our sleeve to really drive up listens. You see?
Okay, so I mean, it feels like we've been getting a few more because of lockdown anyway. Are you thinking about maybe really kind of taking a stratospheric somehow?
Well, you see, I've been looking at our analytics.
Got to be careful which one of those you say.
Yeah, I've been looking at the not botty one, and I think that I've noticed a trend, right? Which is that when we've been really lucky. You're absolutely right. We've got lots of new listeners over lockdown, particularly this last 3 or 4 months, and that's great. Thanks, hi new listeners.
Yes, nice to see everybody. Thank you for listening. Back to the sketch.
Yeah, we're talking to you anyway, right? But I've noticed that then just go back and listen to the most recent episode. They go back and listen to our back catalogue. They probably go back, 6 to 12 months. So we're seeing a spike in previous things. That's how podcasts work. We've got this huge library. We've been doing it nearly 3 years, Dante. I think April's.
Have we been doing it that long?
Yeah, yeah, yes. And we are well on our way to recording more.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think we'd start putting some effort in if we've been doing it for this long, but
and lose the loyal fan base we've got. Ridiculous.
Let's keep half-assing it all the way through. But how are we going to make it more popular?
Right. So people are going back to our back catalogue, yeah. And anyway, so I was, I've been musing on this for a while about how we can,
You've been noodling.
Noodling's the word I go with. Yeah. And then I thought, Nintendo.
Right.
Okay. Now Nintendo are masters of getting people to, thrash out a load of more money for a load of the old crap they've always re-released, like every so often, yeah?
But every time I go to try and think about buying something from Nintendo, it's never in stock, and then I lose the impulse buying impulse.
And that is what's so genius, right? Take, for example, was it last year? It was the Mario anniversary, 35th anniversary year. Yeah. So they did like a load of gimmicks and stuff like that. They relaunched on the Switch the Mario 3D All-Stars game.
Okay.
They Mario Brothers 35, like a Battle Royale Mario Brothers game and stuff like that. But they said, when they released it, last September time, October, they said you can only have this until March 31st, 2021. It's the end of this month coming, as a woman recording it.
Yeah.
You aren't going to be able to listen you're going to be able to buy any of those games anymore, or play them. Or you can play them if you got them, but the Mario 35 game is gone. That's it. No more.
Okay. So they're just withdrawing them off the shelves. They're taking back all their physical copies.
Taking physical copies, and they're removing digital copies, and they're shutting down the Mario Brothers 35 game. Yeah, so you can't get any more. And guess what?
Okay, yeah,
they sold an absolute shed load. They sold a shed load in that time. Yeah.
Okay, right, yeah, okay. So you're saying limited availability and high demand? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So what if we said to everyone that's now listening that they've got until they've got 2 months to listen to our entire back catalogue of every single episode we've ever done ever before we completely delete it and it becomes unavailable? Because if we delete our back catalogue, our listens will go up, you see?
Right, okay. I mean, I can see how you kind of got to the where you are now, but just saying that out loud, so deleting all of our back catalogue to get more listens, is that really what you're saying here?
I appreciate it sounds counterintuitive, but that's why Nintendo are geniuses, and we can be geniuses like Nintendo, because all we do is we say, okay, if you want to listen to it, you've got those 2 months, and our listens will shoot up in those 2 months. Yeah, we will be riding high for those 2 months.
Right, but then after those 2 months, no one can listen to our back catalogue, and neither can we, I guess.
Oh yeah, we delete the backups.
Okay, and what? Okay, so that gives us good listens for 2 months, and then just complete dead air for the rest of time.
I mean, that's one way to look at it and say, if you're going to be on the negative side, yes. Yeah, in theory, I suppose, if you do the maths, our listens will drop off once we get rid of all our episodes. But it's about those 2 months, though. You're not focusing on how good those 2 months will be.
Yeah, okay. I mean, are we 100% sure that Nintendo are actually geniuses? Are we just, are we not considering the fact that they might just be completely fucking inept?
I mean, it's sold millions of copies as Mario 3D All Stars on the Switch. I bought a copy.
Yeah,
I was sucked right in.
I mean, okay, but I considered buying, even a Switch I considered buying, and then because they were so low in stocks, and I didn't really feel like the Switch Lite that I couldn't plug into a TV, I then couldn't buy one, and then after about a month I thought, well, actually, there's not that many games on the Switch I want, and ended up not buying it. It kind of backfired, certainly from my perspective. And every time I've tried to buy a SNES Mini, a NES Mini, there's never been any in stock. And I've just got annoyed with Nintendo as a brand, that I didn't have that bigger opinion of to begin with. I'm not sure this is going to work in our favor.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just going to be, just from a marketing perspective, just sitting back, as a consumer, and I don't mean this personally, this absolutely isn't a personal attack, but as a consumer, you are a dickhead.
Okay. Right, yeah, no, granted, that's true.
So, because you should have persevered and queued up and begged Nintendo to buy their products off them. Because people beg Nintendo for their stuff. People are begging for that Mario, will be begging for that Mario 3D All Stars game, despite the fact that those games were released years and years ago and have been re-released on other systems since. That's not the point. People beg Nintendo and people will come begging for us for more episodes. Right. And we won't give it to them. That's the genius. We won't even do that. That's the Nintendo way. So
Nintendo, if I spent ages and ages begging Nintendo, I still wouldn't get the thing that I was looking for.
No, you'll get something else that you don't really want. But you'll still spend some money. And it's just the pent-up demand. This is bloody genius. It's just, I need to lay down, to be honest. This is so smart. It's making my head hurt.
Yeah, no, I can see why it might be making it. Are you sure it's not a tumor or something? Because
I have been smelling the vein on the side of your head is I've been smelling a lot of burnt toast recently, and I am urinating a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's
I'm just going to have a sit down. Maybe I should call a doctor. Actually,
maybe you should, and just make sure we haven't deleted any episodes of our podcast yet, right? We're not kind of.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't. And hello, Jambaggers. Welcome to another month of the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast with myself, Mr. Dante Rodriguez, and my co-host,
Mr. Rudy Manchego. Hi, everybody.
Hello, Rudy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. If you're a new listener, it's fantastic to have you, as we said in our last segment. And for the long-time fans, thanks for keeping on coming back, despite the fact that we keep making really terrible jokes, which people have told us about, and maybe we could consider, acting on some of this feedback. Haven't we, really?
We have, and to be aware, we have had some comments about a previous episode. So we'd like to roll a pre-prepared apology tape, because that seems to be the 2021 thing to do. So should we roll a clip? And
let's we've got it pre-recorded. So let's hit play on this one.
Hello and welcome to the Jambags Gaming Podcast. I am Rudy Manchego, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-host,
Mr. Dante Rodriguez. And we would like to read the following statement to address accusations of sexism on the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast.
It was raised to our attention after last month's podcast episode that we featured two jokes revolving around ladies and the female body. The first joke was related to a female streamer, which some felt implied that we thought that because one female streamer is practically a porn star, that we thought all female streamers were porn stars.
Which simply isn't the case. We know there was a high amount of diversity on the platform Twitch, or Twatch as we call it, because we're mature adults, and that is not the case, that just because one is potentially a porn star, not every single one of them is. We also made a joke about the lady's menstrual cycle and likened it to the Microsoft or MaxiPad game model.
That is correct there, Dante. We would like to suggest that we do not find menstrual cycle amusing in of itself, but it was a lazy part of us to try and make up some brand familiarity with the Xbox brand and also fit it into Hanson's Mbop in a previous podcast.
Yes, which we think is hilarious because Hanson are funny intrinsically.
Yes. What we'd like to take an opportunity is that none of our work should be taken as offence or have any kind of forethought before it. If we're guilty of anything, it is of lazy jokes.
Yes, absolutely. And there was no intent to cause offence, even though the joke was not particularly well thought out. We would like to reassure our listeners that from this point on, the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast will be more diverse in representation. We'll make sure to feature more items that are female-focused and promote diversity in video gaming.
Absolutely. I think I'd echo that statement there, Dante, and to state that from now on, you can see a new look to the Jambags Gaming Podcast. Thank you, everybody.
Coming up later in the show, sluttiest characters in video games.
Oh, you knows it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey Jambaggers, it is time for From the Jambags, our monthly news segment when we uncover the biggest nuggets of gaming news for you and deliver it on this rather witty podcast. Anyway, no, don't say we are pretty smart. But we've got quite yes, we have a meaty bag here. So I was thinking that I wanted to cover off the latest hot thing in gaming, which is Valheim.
Oh, yes, I have Valheim. Valheim.
Yeah.
I'm aware of this game.
Yes, let me just read you the summary of what the game is. So Valheim is an early access indie survival game that's inspired by Viking culture. It's an open world survival and crafting game with both single player and co-op PvE, that's player versus environment mechanics. It also has a punishing combat system, boss battles, and a neat building system that even lets you craft imposing Viking warships. Wow. Now, let's be honest here, we have got no idea what any of that is, but or why anyone should care, or why it's sold millions of copies in early access and everyone seems to be on it. But we want in on the hype.
We do. We feel like we maybe could have taken a more proactive approach to some of the bigger gaming trends since we missed out on PUBG and
missed it.
Fortnite.
Missed it.
We just, we never played it, but we still seem to hate it for some reason. Folly Down Guys.
Yep, missed it.
Amongst Us.
Missed that.
Everything that's kind of in the I mean, we mentioned the Goose game. Was it Untitled Goose Game? Yeah, we mentioned the Goosey game, but I didn't play it. So yeah, we think we need to reverse our trend of just ignoring gaming trends.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, we've been playing. Well, let's word this correctly. Valheim is just a great game that we're all about. It has we really enjoy the punishing combat system.
Yes, with the survival, open world, crafting stuff.
And the fact you can build Viking warships is like a video game dream come true.
Completely. And the fact that we can do the PvE. What's that again?
That's PPE? Oh, no, wait, PPE. No. PPE, yeah. That's the player versus environment, obviously. We knew that. Yeah, absolutely. So this is the game we've been playing loads of, and we really, really like it. And if you join the podcast because we tagged it, the meta content with Valheim, that's because we are Valheim players and streamers.
Hashtag Valheim, hashtag clickbait.
Anyway, now that we've implant ourselves in the zeitgeist for Valheim, you've got something on about a video game that's been struggling.
Yes, no, we seem to have we sort of cover these quite a lot in our podcast when games are struggling and somehow developers and publishers decide to just go ahead and make it worse. I mean, there's a couple we're going to talk about. The first one is The Revengers Minimum Effort. We've covered this a few times on our podcast, and it seems like it's going from, I'd say, strength to whatever the opposite from strength to strength is, from weakness to weakness, I guess. Yeah,
I would suggest that it's becoming more and more malnourished.
Yeah, no, it's going on some kind of hunger strike. It seems like a self-imposed hunger strike because it's like the developers decided, hey, let's take something that's maybe could do with an improvement and just throw some kind of spanners into it because. What they've done is that they have decided to slow down the progression of the game. You've slowed down your XP building, so rather than getting an XP boost, it's like an XP dampening, and you don't level up your character quite as fast, meaning you don't get your character up to a decent level, and you have to grind a bit more. So taking a game that was already fairly grindy and making it grindier. What do you think, Rudy?
I mean, I think it's just solid gold genius because, think about it this way, take a step back. If you've got a game where no one's playing it, the grind isn't very fun, it's boring, the only real appeasing thing about it was that you could level up quickly and get to the end of it. But you don't want people to get to the end of it, you want them to keep grinding. But what you do is you just make the grind even longer. I mean, it's reverse psychology, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess if more people are kind of grinding away, thinking there's going to be something good at the end of that grind, you can at least say, well, we've got more players in the game at the moment, or people are sticking around for longer, so we've got better player retention. Is that?
Yeah,
I think that's why they're doing it to justify.
It's that, and it's Stockholm syndrome, which is that by that point you've been abused so heavily, you'll actually fall in love with the game. Whereas at the moment, the people were whizzing through it, getting through the progression quite quickly, and going, "There's nothing here. I've got to the end game. This is pointless. I'm out." Now they're they're kind of like, oh, I'm almost there, and this game's boring and grinding and a complete, waste of a fantastic license. But but
it loves me really.
So yeah, exactly.
It would never really hurt me. It really does love me. It's not toxic at all.
We're going to be together forever. We can play this forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
And it's really my fault that it's shit, not its fault.
Yeah, exactly. And that's smart marketing from those guys. I think they are onto a winner. There is no way that this game won't just rocket back up into popularity. Yeah.
So basically, it's marketing by gaslighting. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I mean, that's a crude term, but hey, if it keeps players in the game and from playing other games that are actually quite good, then that's what they're after. Clearly.
Yeah. Get out now, Revenge's players. Just go. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you don't deserve that kind of treatment. Okay. So, Rudy, you now have some news for us on a big Hollywood adaptation of a beloved video game IP.
Yeah, I'm gonna include this in the gaming news. I mean, that there are several. There are rules to the universe. And there's rules such as gravity, speed equals distance over time, or whatever those equations. I wasn't really listening to those at science, but there's another law which
MC McTaggart
McDuck. But anyway, the main thing here is that the other universal rule is that video game adaptations are generally poo.
Generally, yeah. I can't think of a great one off the top of my head.
Exactly. There are no high caliber video game movies, let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. Until now, maybe, because hot on the heels that esteemed thespian Cate Blanchett has joined the Borderlands movie from director Eli Roth.
Now, I mean, Borderlands, now that is a highbrow title if ever I've played one.
Well, exactly. But, and I think people thought it was going to go for that, lowbrow, not going to be a great film. But then, obviously, they recruited thespian Cate Blanchett, and this is Galadriel, this is Queen Elizabeth, the original one, the good one, not the rubbish one we got now. She's just brings a touch of class to everything that she's in, and they are going. We've got some, I'd say, credible sources on this one. You're right, because Dante, my mum's sister's daughter's husband's mate Roy.
Oh yeah, no, he's very credible.
Works down the cash and carry, yeah. Well,
yeah, well, he fixed my car for free, so yeah, he's credible for that.
Well, he reckons that he knows someone that's working on casting for Borderlands, and that we're about to hear that Oscar winner actor Dame Judi Dench has been cast as the villainous Handsome Jack.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that is out of the left field casting. Is that? I mean,
so what's that? 2 Oscar-y people. Boom, already there, but that's not all.
Well, I mean, Judi Dench is best known for her appearance in The Chronicles of Riddick, so
that is true. This is going to be a step up from that in her career, path to legend status. But not only that, but famed Shakespearean actor Derek Jacobi will be playing Sir Hammerlock, and of course Ian McKellen, Gandalf to some, Magneto to others. Shakespearean actor to no one, will be the annoying robot Claptrap.
Wow, he was born to play that role. I mean, every time we play that in our online gaming sessions, I always think, yeah, that robot sounds a lot like Ian McKellen.
Exactly. And I mean, so yes, this is looking pretty like a high cat. This is like the definition of acting royalty. I will say there have been some false rumours from now that I've managed to debunk. Additional claims that sadly deceased actor Christopher Lee were brought back from the dead to portray a midget psycho are, as we understand it, utter bollocks. But the rest is legit because Roy said so. Roy's mate reckons. Yeah,
Roy said that one was bollocks, but yeah, this is all very much kind of legit casting. Casting.
So
news. Wow.
we will sit here and hopefully we'll finally finish Borderlands 2 before the film actually comes out, and we might have an understanding of what's going on. But I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
No, I don't think there's a great deal of point to it. I mean, I think and I'm guessing they're going to follow a similar plot to the game in the movie, and it's going to make about as much sense, and the humour is going to be awful, and Judi Dench is going to have like the worst dialogue I've ever heard in a game, and it's going to sell like millions because everyone loves Borderlands. That isn't me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so let's not get into that controversial debate. Let's get into something far less controversial, shall we? In our final news story for today.
Our final news story, yes, absolutely. And you probably guessed that we were going to mention this at some point in the podcast because, well, one, I'm a long-time BioWare fan who's been burned over the past decade of this whole console generation of BioWare games, Mass Effect Andromeda, and now Anthem, which has been finally put out to pasture, has been shot in the head and taken to the glue factory if it were a horse.
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Dante, because we have here the media release that the director of BioWare actually released when he explained what was happening with Anthem. Do you want to actually just roll that clip up?
I think we probably should roll the tape about the press release about Anthem and the repercussions of its cancellation.
Okay, let's go.
Hello, citizens of gaming. We did inform you that when we released Anthem, that you should buy it, yeah? And if you did not buy it, Mr. Cutie Kitty Catty here would be receiving serious harm. Now the game is cancelled. I might remind you, you reap what you sow. Goodbye, Mr. Cutie Kitty Catty.
Oh, ow.
Well, that is a brutal way to end a news conference. I mean,
it is.
So I guess everyone's learnt their lesson from Anthem. Is that what we're saying, Dante?
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing. It seems like there's nobody ever going to be considering releasing another game like Anthem anytime soon. Now, it does seem like perhaps EA has learned this lesson because they've made a few changes as to what's happening with the next Dragon Age game. But it does seem like every other publisher, like, okay, just because I happen to be exposed to it, the Outriders demo and quite a few other these sort of free or fairly cheap games that are coming out at the moment, seems to be a online looter-shooter with crafting elements, much like Anthem was. So, yeah, let's keep following that business model.
Yeah, it seems to be working. Well, I think that's a pretty good roundup. And I think we did it all without being controversial in any way, shape or form. There follows now another short apology from the Jambags Gaming Podcast team, myself, Rudy Manchego.
And myself, Mr. Dante Rodriguez. We would like to apologise for any notions of cruelty to animals or animal-like characters in our video game podcast.
We absolutely take animal rights seriously, and this was more of a joke about the situation of the industry and the lengths that the industry would go to, rather than the actual fact of animal cruelty.
Yes. Please be assured that from this point forward, we will be making sure that we are covering animal rights in a much more essential and animal-centric method on our podcast.
Thank you very much, everybody. And coming up now on the Jambags Gaming Podcast, yes, you've heard of Can You Pet the Dog? here comes a follow-up game. Can you kick the dog? Let's just see what this game's all about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, taking us back to those fun moments in that Resident Evil game and some other ones along with it, where you've had to shoot some dogs.
Oh, they're always my favourite part of a game, Dante. I just can't stop playing them.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jambags Future Games Extravaganza with me, Mr. Dante Rodriguez.
And myself, Mr. Rudy Manchego. And whoa, what a crowd we have here. Yeah, technically.
It's so nice to see so many people in that crowd, all wearing masks, I hope.
Well, probably not, because this is badly organised and it does break an awful lot of quarantine rules right now. But we don't care about that kind of thing, because we're talking gaming. And this is where we lay out the roadmap for 2021 for all the major console platforms. Woo.
And it's going to be a super exciting year with the games that are coming out from the major console platforms. That's what this show is all about. I have been researching into what is next for the Xbox Microsoft lineup coming in the future of games for 2021. And Rudy, you've been looking at what Sony's got on offer, haven't you?
I have indeed. And we've also got an announcement from dear old Nintendo. That's right, they'll be following up the rear in this announcement, telling us what they've got on the shelves. I am literally pissing myself in excitement, Dante.
Yes, there is a warm puddle beneath my feet too, Mr. Manchego. I am really, really kind of uncomfortable, but we are still going, even though I've done that in front of all these people. Anyway, moving on. Let's think about what is coming up in 2021. Rudy, what have you got for us?
It is what you've all been waiting for. It is the Sony announcement, and yes, Sony are confirming that this year they will more than likely be releasing a game or so at £70 or dollars. Yes. Whoa. That is some massive news there from Sony. One or two of the games they said might launch this year might launch this year.
Yeah. No.
At £70 that we can't afford because the world's ended.
Bigging it up as well, but yeah, Xbox have kind of got call as well, and it's not going to be a great year.
We should have really read the announcements before we organised this large crowd.
We really should, yeah.
Broke quarantine rules. Well, there is always
nothing.
There's Nintendo.
There's Nintendo. Guys, okay, Nintendo.
People like Nintendo. Let's just see. I've got one of the guys here feeding me the news from Nintendo. And wait a sec. What is that? Sorry. We've got Larry. Just it's been on speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Taking all the games off the shelves. There's no games on the shelves anymore.
Right, wow. This is the Nintendo Genius thing.
Whoa, guys, this has redeemed this event for our minds with the crowd, because Nintendo, we were struck out there with Sony and Microsoft, but Nintendo have pulled it out of the bag by just doing something completely and utterly Nintendo. We're going to be talking about this for weeks to come.
Not only are they not going to release any new games, they're going to delete all of their old games, so the demand...
this is just, genius. Literally.
I could be developing a brain tumour, but that does seem to be genius.
Yeah, I might be hallucinating a lot of strange colours right now whilst urinating heavily, but Nintendo, you guys are marketing kings. That is... listen to the crowd, they are going absolutely well.
They are going mental about all of this.
Yeah, Nintendo are literally taking away access to games they've paid for, and they fucking love it.
They do.
Nintendo magic.
And any of the games coming out for, PlayStation or Xbox next year, are they going to be all remasters of PS3 and 360 era games?
Of course they will, Dante. Of course they will. There follows a short apology from the Jambags Gaming Comedy Podcast with regards to our loyal Nintendo fans, Mr. Dante Rodriguez.
Yeah, Nintendo shit in it!
That was our apology to Nintendo fans who enjoy Nintendo consoles. We would like to apologise again for the way you are treated and gaslit by this large organisation. Thank you very much. Right then, Ante, it is time to bring back a feature that we have not featured on the podcast for some months now, which is let's play the jingle because it kind of explains itself. And
Rip-off of the month.
there we go. That's right. Rip-off of the month.
It is a very popular segment, as I recall.
Yeah, absolutely. Our listener really liked that segment.
Yes, our listener definitely was appreciative.
But this one is a special one because I did what, Rudy tends to do in situations like this. I stumbled across some money after making some eBay, selling some tat on eBay. And I thought, you know what? I've been working on a review for our friends at Anybutton Gaming on cloud gaming. I've been dabbling with cloud gaming on the phone. And I thought, you know what? It's been reduced to £60. I signed up for the month trial for Stadia and bought the sort of founders pack with the controller and Chromecast.
Oh, nice! Now that is an inspired purchase, sir. That is
absolutely.
That's really forward thinking. The way you've gotten in on the ground floor with Stadia as it's on the way up.
Yeah, and so obviously I got it and I set it up, and the next day they closed all their game studios and basically are going to kill the service long term. Clearly, so.
Is it because you bought it specifically, or do you think it's a massive coincidence?
Well, I was kind of hoping that, we'd get some kind of comment from someone official about what's going on here. But
I don't think I don't know, my memory's a bit fuzzy. I don't know if this, I keep having these dreams about this guy with a weird voice. It sounds like the PlayStation Access team when they do their Brian Cox impression, but just a bit weirder. Normally someone said Dan Danielson.
Oh, hang on a minute. Is that Dan Danielson from Google?
No, you didn't schedule a meeting with Dan Danielson. But Dan Danielson is here to talk to you about the future of gaming, Stadia.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Rudy, for buying the Stadia because it makes sense.
I have a couple of questions. You may have realised we're featuring this on Rip-Off of the Month. So I bought the Google Stadia controller and Chromecast sets, and the next day you guys basically pulled support for that. So what's the deal? How come I've got ripped off?
It is all an elaborate ruse, Rudy, because when the Google comes up with Stadia Mark II, you shall be rewarded and given a place on the spaceship that the great Google will allow Stadia users onto when this world is ended and the next world in Andromeda is created.
Okay, so that's great. I like the idea of this eternal, this spaceship trip to my salvation. That's fantastic. That isn't actually part of the marketing, though. What I was actually promised is that I get a huge library of games, some of which were original and unique to the platform, and I'm not getting that. A load of people are out of their jobs, and I've just spent £60 on what appears to be a nice white controller.
That is correct, Mr. Manchego. Have faith in the power of Google that things will create themselves. What we will be doing is we will be creating game from the power of our mind. So as you play the Stadia, in order to be the future of gaming, what you need to do is keep your eyes completely closed the entire time and imagine what great game you think you could create in the vestiges of your mind, the best possible game in the entire world. And you will be playing that game with your eyes shut on the nice controller that you've got that you can't use on anything else.
Okay, so if I understand your official statement as a Google representative, Dan Danielson, you're telling me that what I need to do is, with my nice new controller, is set it all up, close my eyes, press the buttons, and imagine I'm playing a really, really amazing exclusive game on the Stadia. That's what my £60 has bought me.
It's amazing, Mr. Manchego. You could be a representative for Google for yourself. Have you considered a career in Google evangelism like me, Dan Danielson?
I'm just going to roll the jingle again, I think, and move on.
Fair enough.
Okay, Jambaggers, we have a special treat for you today. We've had a request to come on the show by one of the top trending streamers on the popular streaming platform Twitch. Please welcome Sophie Scrotton, better known by her hundreds of Twitch followers as Ariel Derriere. Hello, Ariel.
Hi, Dante. Thank you for letting me come on the show.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So what made you ask to come on Southeast England's third or maybe fourth, possibly fifth most popular comedy gaming podcast?
Well, I know I said I just wanted to help with your segment, Sluttiest Characters in Video Games.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that title, thank you.
That's exactly the problem with this awful blokey woman-hating podcast you put out every month. You think the women in your games are there to be objectified, and all the female Twitch streamers are a bunch of sluts.
Hey, that's not what you said on the phone.
Well, tough. I'm here now, so I'm going to educate you that none of that is true.
It isn't?
Of course it's not. Everyone on Twitch isn't like Belle Delphine. Most of us are serious gamers.
All right, okay. I mean, I guess it couldn't hurt to know some of this stuff, since Twitch makes about as much sense to me as Narnia does, to be honest.
Well, actually, there are a few fawns and a lot of dwarfs on Twitch now.
Really? Wow, okay. Okay, so tell me about Twitch as a platform. It seems like everyone has a channel these days.
Well, Twitch can be used to live stream content of any kind to your audience. It doesn't have to be gaming necessarily, even though that's kind of how it started. People have channels for tabletop games, arts, crafts, films, music. The list is endless.
Okay, so is it like other social media where you have, followers, that sort of thing?
Sort of, but it's more of a community. It's like hanging out with friends and doing things you enjoy.
Okay, but only you get to do the thing, though. Everyone else just watches, right?
Well, yes, but they can join in with the chat. For example, other users can help solve puzzles or give advice on in-game decisions.
Okay, all right, I see. I guess, there's always a thing that confused me. I mean, I'd rather be playing the games than watching somebody else do it.
Well, it's more about the community and being sociable.
Sorry, people are the absolute worst. I mean, apart from all you jambaggers out there, you guys are great.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You making fun of something you barely understand, and generally seem to dislike anyone who doesn't play exactly the same kind of games you do.
Hey, that is okay, yeah, maybe some of that's true. So, I mean, I hear a lot of the people on Reddit talking about how female Twitch streamers have it so easy. They just, flash their chests and suddenly have 1 million followers, while male streamers are largely ignored. I mean, how would you respond to that kind of criticism?
Well, it's absolute nonsense. It's actually a lot harder for female streamers to grow their audiences than people might think. The top 500 Twitch streamers, less than 20% are women. Also, it can be quite toxic for women. For example, when you compare chat data between male and female streamers and male streamers chat, you'll see that the most popular words are things like points, winner, and star. But for us women, words like bitch, show, and boobs are most common. And that kind of toxicity and abuse can be difficult to deal with when it's so constant.
Really? That's awful you have to put up with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to concentrate on my cosmic glory hole when the chat is so abusive.
Cosmic glory? What? I don't think I've played that game.
Well, I mean, it's really just a hole in the wall of my building where strangers put their wangs for me to, well, never mind. I mean, the point is, we aren't all like Belle Delphine.
Right, so she's like an isolated case then?
Yes, exactly. And my Gamer Girl bathwater is 15% sexier than hers, and that's a scientific fact. Order now from my Mostly Filth site.
Wait, what? I thought it was OnlyFans. I only invited you here because you didn't have one of those sites.
Oh no, that one's too mainstream. 70% off at mostlyfilth/Ariel's Anal Adventures. See you there, boys.
Hey, you cannot come on here and peddle your smut.
Well, it's better than you and Rudy sitting around talking about how blue your balls are.
Well, hey, that was private. I mean, come on, this is a serious podcast. We have integrity here. We're not here to help you sell your cheap homemade porn. Now, take your smut peddling ass and get out of my podcasting booth. Ugh, I am so disgusted. There's no way we're airing this bit now.
Free trial to my Mostly Filth site. Includes a free building site dogging fantasy video.
Yeah, all right.
And this is bringing us towards the end of another Jambags Comedy Gaming podcast. Thank you, Jambaggers, for sticking with us to the end through all of the apologies. And if you were part of the groups that needed apologising to, well, probably sorry again.
Yeah, I mean, come on, what else do you want? We've had your apologies. We did a slow sort of video and stuff like that. If you imagine it in black and white as well, it'll be more serious. But anyway,
Yes.
yeah, well, for those of us who have stuck to the end, which will probably be very few people now, we've insulted most of them. We actually have some listener questions, which is fantastic. Now, I'm going to go straight into them. Our first question is from the rather awesome Metal Shark. Now, Metal Shark, we have shared beverages with in the last time that either of us have been sociable, which was at EGX 2019, which seems crazy long time ago now. It'll be 2 years if we go to one this year. But anyway, great chap. And he's got a humdinger of a question, and it's going to draw on all our technical knowledge to answer this one. Okay. Metal Shark says, we saw many videos of using the Xbox Series X as a smoking device when it launched. How many Xbox Series X devices would it take to smoke a dozen kippers? Now, I've done some maths on this, but to be honest, I have to be honest, I don't have a Series X. Now, I have a Series S, and I can tell you, we've talked about in previous podcasts, that it gets hot, which is probably where this question's coming from. But the Series X has got smoke involved, and that gives an entirely different new way of cooking. So, what's your thoughts?
Well, Microsoft did put that press release saying we didn't believe we'd have to say this, but please do not blow smoke into your Xbox Series X, which clearly was misguided press release, because that's a great use for a console like that to smoke kippers and to smoke anything, bacon, smoked cheese, anything like that can be.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right there, because you've got something that people that have seen those videos, I know that was, people say, oh, people just blowing, sort of vape smoke and stuff through it. If you looked at the distribution of that smoke that came through, it was a beautiful plume from it, which gave a really nice equal coverage. So if you had, for example, you put a nice oaky smoking underneath there, got like an oak fire going into the X Series X and vented it up, and you hung the kippers in a really good position, you're going to get that real kind of like smokehouse effect. If you had 3 or 4 in like a nice small cupboard, you're going to get beautifully smoked kippers. Mouth waters, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous of Microsoft to put a statement out like that. I mean, of course people are going to use it for that. First thing I saw when I saw that announced was like, I bet I could smoke some kippers on that.
Oh yeah, no, I bought like a shitload of kippers just for that, because I thought, well, clearly people are using these consoles for the right method. Now, my thoughts on this is that so it's a dozen kippers, so a dozen's what, 12, yeah?
Correct.
Okay, so I reckon that the width of a Series X is about half a kipper. So I reckon about 24 Series X's to smoke 12 kippers.
I mean, I think that's true. I mean, I suppose it depends on how you're doing it, isn't it? Because in my mind, when I was working out, you've gone for the sort of, I guess, laying them down on the side.
Yeah.
Whereas in my head, I had actually hung them up like on rope or like string, like hang them so you can smoke, which is, another way of doing it. I'm not saying your way is any wrong. We've all got our own ways of, cooking and stuff like that. It's not a claim, but that way, I think if you grouped all the Xboxes to get Series X's together into like a big block and hung them, I think you could probably get 2 to a Series X, because obviously you're only the sort of thinner side, with a bit of space for the smoke can go on either side of it, it goes up. So I actually think you could get away with 6 Series X's if you put them all close together in an enclosed space.
That's maverick thinking. I like it.
I'd just like to say to everyone that if you are going to attempt to do this, we take no responsibility for anything that might ensue, especially some really tasty kippers.
Oh yeah, no, we don't have another apology video lined up for this one, do we?
No, it's people burn to death smoking kippers, and but smoke some kippers, you won't be back for breakfast.
We won't. No, Ace Rimmer.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Metal Shark. That was a great question. I hope we've helped, and let us know how those kippers are. If you do get 6 Series X's and use the smoke kippers, do let us know if you manage to get the full dozen done, or have you gone with the Dante technique and you've ordered 24 to lay them all out flat? Let us know.
It seems like people are struggling to get one of any next-gen console at the moment, because we haven't mentioned it this podcast for once, but scalpers still a thing, still causing kind of supply issues all over the place.
I don't believe this kind of thing would affect Metal Shark. He would sort this out. I'm confident. If he wants 24, he'll get 24.
Oh yeah, no, I have complete faith in Metal Shark's abilities to get consoles at launch price as well. He's the man.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, one more question we've got, I think,
Yes, from Khaleesi X23 has a question about kind of crossing over games. So if you could breed or crossbreed two games into one sort of distilled game, so sort of child of two games, if you like, what two games would you join together and why? The example that she gives is of a combination of Doom and the Mario Brothers. Essentially, it would be an example of Princess Peach mowing down hordes and hordes of demons with very kind of cutesy music, but also with kind of incredible amounts of gore on screen in front of us, which I think is a great idea. So what do you think, really?
I would play that. Yeah, I'd absolutely play that game. I would commission the game straight away. Yeah,
definitely. It's a pitch meeting again, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Play the game. Green light that straight away. Thank you.
I'm in for 1,000, Xbox credits.
Then I'm in.
Oh, the bidding room's a terrible show. Anyway, so what would your game idea be? What would you crossbreed in terms of games?
I think there's only one thing that I would like. I would probably take Cyberpunk 2077 and I would crossbreed it with
controversial
The Witcher 3, because ultimately that's what we all thought we were getting. Yeah, we all thought we were going to get The Witcher 3 with
which
cool
is a
future space cars.
Game.
Yeah, a great car with great stories, and yes, maybe a bit rough around the edges at launch, but fully playable on the hardware it was released on. We get can also run on the Switch, and we would get that, but with flying cars and cool cybernetics and shit like that. And so I think those two together would make a really good game.
Yeah, CD Projekt, are you listening? That's kind of what we were expecting. Yet
they're probably not listening anyway. But maybe they are. We're having a go, you guys. But I mean, seriously, that's kind of what you marketed. So release it.
Yeah, kind of sort it out, would you? But yeah, I think this is a really great question. Although I think perhaps the example that Khaleesi gave it just needs kind of flipping on its head.
Would you, in an early noughties pop terminology, flip and reverse it?
I would pop and lock it, or something. Milli Vanilli it? I don't know. Anyway, what I would do is I would switch it around and I would have an incredibly violent and psychopathic Doom guy character.
Yes.
Mowing down hundreds and hundreds of very cute looking demons and characters. That'd be one way of doing that. I mean, I've actually thought of something a bit more original rather than kind of copying someone else's idea. I was thinking of perhaps crossing something like either Animal Crossing or theme park or theme hospital or something like that with something like BioShock. So essentially what you'd be doing is it'd be before the fall of the great city of Rapture, and you would be collecting the sweat on everybody's brows and doing really kind of against the grain and sort of godlike human experimentation where you come up with psychopathics and you're kind of building a capitalist utopia full of psychopaths in a kind of world building type game.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I would definitely buy that actually as well. I'd buy both those ideas. That greenlight the both of them immediately. Absolutely, get Ken Levine and 200,000 devs on it straight away. Okay,
is Peter Molyneux not available?
I've got a bit of a sore throat at the moment, so he doesn't tend to turn up when he's got sore throats for some reason. Don't know why that is.
Funny how Peter Molyneux is never around when you're
feeling a bit under the weather. Peter Molyneux doesn't turn up.
Got a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, isn't it?
Well, that is the end of our Jambags questions. Thank you, everybody that contributed, and anyone that's listening. We would really love to hear from you with questions for next month's podcast. You can respond to any of our comment sections on any of the platforms that we will mention at the end of the podcast to get a question to us anytime you like. But we will always ask for them on Twitter a couple of days before we do our recording.
Cool.
So, Rudy, what have you been playing this month?
Well, it's been we're a bit late on the podcast this month. It's been a hard month for myself. Things going on in IRL. I think that means in real life.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, that's 90s so cool. Text chat to IRL.
LOL, ASL. Anyway, but what I've been losing myself quite obsessively, and I didn't think I would do this in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. On the old
game, man.
PS5. Yeah, it's one of those games that it's real. What's the word? it's like the superhero kind of genre of cinema, in the sense of it's addictive. You get into the groove of it. It's really, really huge. It's too huge, but you sort of really enjoy it. I don't think I'll finish it and go like, well, that's just the game of the year. But at the same time, I'm quite obsessively playing it and quite keen to uncover everything. So, it was gifted to me for Christmas. So I thought, around sort of getting into it. Yeah, and it is fun. It's fun. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. I'm like 30 hours into it, and I know that I'm probably not halfway.
Yeah, no, me as well. I mean, I've taken a bit of a break from it myself, but I am very much meaning to go back. Which of the areas have you gotten to most recently?
I am East Anglia? I'm beyond that now. I'm in Oxfordshire.
Oxfordshire, yes. Yes. Yeah, you're a little bit behind me, but not much. So that's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I will. I think I will definitely see this one through completion. I've downloaded a load of other games, things which the problem is that I'm now stuck. It's now queued behind me finishing this because it's so large. I have to play everything. So I've got some more Far Cry 5 to play with his good self. I've got the DLC for that. Yes. And I've also got a few other games. I really want to start Jedi Fallen Order. It's on the Xbox. And I have... Yes. The other game I have been playing a little bit of actually is Hades on PC.
I did see you playing that online the other day. That's cool. I hear loads of good things about that.
Yeah, it's the first roguelite I've played. I when I'm doing well on it, I think it's a great game, and then when I do badly on it,
it's the worst game in the world, right? A bit like Sekiro, yeah.
It's not as hard as Sekiro. I just find it weird playing the same thing over and over again. Like a kind of Groundhog Day that's slightly random and not random, and then in the hope of getting a little bit better and progress a little bit more each time. Because I'm not very good at games, so but I can see why it gets the love and the fandom that it does. And it is a very fine game, great soundtrack, excellent writing, great voice acting in it. A criminally large amount of content for the asking price of like £15-16. When it inevitably comes to other consoles, I would definitely recommend picking up. I think it's only out on Switch and PC at the moment, but it will come to PS4 and 5 and Xbox, no doubt.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be there.
And your good self. What have you been going for?
Okay, well, I've been... I've taken a bit of a break from Valhalla, possibly again unrelated. I've been told to give my eyes a bit of a break from their contact lenses, so I've not had kind of full faculties of vision. So being able to spot when enemies are attacking me, or kind of spotting enemies to attack while in stealth has been a little bit more difficult. So I've had a bit of a break from Valhalla, and I've been playing Forza, because apparently when you're visually impaired, driving is a thing that you can do. Possibly.
Well, I'd just be quite state that not only can you do it, but you should do it to make sure it's safe to drive with children.
Absolutely, and because Forza gives you all kinds of castles that you can drive to. I mean, not Barnard Castle, but Edinburgh Castle, Bamber Castle, and some other places as well. I feel like I can successfully check that my vision is sort of working-ish whenever I'm playing it. But also, I've been finishing off the DLC for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I highly recommend anyone that wants a competently built and working cyberpunk featured game to play. CD Projekt, you taking notes, just play that game, and that's pretty slick. Okay, maybe they released it badly in the last one, but it at least worked. Anyway, I got sidetracked there. Yeah, Deus Ex. Yeah, it's a good game, and you can pick it up for about less than a £5 these days. So I'd recommend that if you're looking at something that's sort of Dishonored-ish. And Forza, and what else? Okay, I bought a game for my kids, Nickelodeon Kart Racers Grand Prix 2 or something along those lines, and I'm a little bit addicted to that now because I'm a mature gamer who doesn't play kids games. Thank you, Nelson. Yeah, but that's kind of what I've been playing lately.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that is it, Jambaggers, for another full month of jam-bagged goodness.
Absolutely.
Where can the peeps on the internet get in contact with us if they want to and are nice to us? Because we've got very, 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 very fragile egos.
Yes, and I think we've put out enough apology clips this month so that we won't get any kind of horrible backlash this time. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, if you want to interact with us on the socials, you can find us on the Jambags Facebook page. If you search on Facebook for Jambags, you'll find our page pretty easily. You can also find us on Twitter. You can find the at Jambags_UK account, which is handled by Mr. Manchego. And if you want to speak to Dante Rodriguez, it's at DanSolo96. You'll find the Dante account from there. You can also find us on Instagram, where you'll find the odds kind of pretty shafts of light through the trees. A bit like the Thin Red Line, but in gaming, that you'll have found from Assassin's Creed Valhalla that I would have recorded, as well as a few things from just games that I'm working with and anything Rudy sends me. Again, the Instagram account is at Jambags_UK, and you will find us there. You can also interact with us via our YouTube account, where you'll find video content, but also the YouTube message and comment boards. If you search YouTube for Jambags, you will find us there. I believe that is everything for now, is it not? So how can people listen to us, Mr. Manchego?
Well, in terms of listening to us, Dante, you can listen to us in a wide variety of ways. Yes, you can listen to us on Spotify. Just search for Jambags, will pop right up. If you have an Apple device, you can listen to us via Apple Podcasts. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please do put some starred reviews and a review and a thumbs up would be great. That helps massively in visibility. You can also pick us up on any good podcast app. We have an RSS feed which plugs into most phone podcast apps across a wide variety of choices. We're also up on our host site, which is Simplecast. Sorry, Neil, I forgot it then. People are paid to all the money for every month to host this. And you can also catch us on a few other Stitcher, I believe. Yeah, that's the other one. And we also put a edited version now onto with a sort of a background placeholder for YouTube. So if you're more of a YouTuber, you can hop on there and catch us there. And those are all the ways you can get it. Any platform you dig on it, if you can like us, subscribe to us, add comments, it really does help. So please do.
It really, really does. And we just like to hear from all you. We want to hear from where you're from. We like seeing the analytics of where all our listeners are coming from. So, hello, West Coast of the USA. Yeah,
guys, you like this podcast for some reason. Or being monitored by a tech company. I don't know. It's one of the two. But hey, look, we appreciate it if you're listening to us. Doesn't matter. It's all helping.
Yeah, no, it really is. Thank you. We really do appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. Thank you, all you jambaggers out there, and hope you have enjoyed this month's podcast.
There follows now an apology on behalf of the Jambags Gaming Podcast from myself, Rudy Manchego, specifically. I would like to apologise for the conduct of my co-host, Mr. Dante Rodriguez. Alas, anything you found offensive or inappropriate on this podcast was the work of Dante Rodriguez and absolutely not of me, Rudy Manchego. I would say that if you feel strongly about this, you should petition to have Dante removed from the podcast or rename it Rudy Manchego's Podcast. That would be the best way to proceed with these. And
Rudy, where have you hidden my pork scratching? What are you doing in here?
I'm doing absolutely nothing, Dante. I'm just
why have you got your apology voice on? Why is there a picture of me? Why have you got a voodoo doll?
No reason at all, and I'm just going to head away from the microphone now. I will catch you later, Dante. Thanks, everybody, and apologies again, anyone that might be listening. I'll see you all later.
You've got such a prick, Rudy. The Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast would like to apologise for Rudy Manchego and everything he has ever done in his life, ever, especially to his wife. Thank you for listening. We would also like to apologise for all the apologies in this very apologetic podcast. Sorry. So sorry. Bye.